Episode 2, Pawns. My brother clenched a notebook in his hands without taking his eyes off me. I hadn't seen him so upset in a long time. How long were you planning on hiding this from me? I know Grandma gets a little confused sometimes, but these are definitely not ramblings of a mad person. Why was she talking about our dead family? And about land burned to the ground? Oh, Karen, Just don't lie to me, Mal, and not now. I wanted to tell you, just not yet. I wanted to understand it better first. I can't explain to you what I haven't quite figured out myself. You have no right to decide that for me. She was talking to me! She was warning me and asking me to take care of you. How could you hide this from me? Does Grandma even know why you came here? How did she know all that? And who is she scared of? Who is she? Karen wrote down all Grandma's words, so you know more. I started massaging my temples and trying not to completely lose my mind. Karen's endless questions just piled up on top of those I already had. I had to be patient. I didn't want to take it out on my little brother, even if I felt like shouting that it was all so very hard for me and I had no energy left. Listen, I don't know what Grandma was talking about. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's very complicated. Is that why you came here? Is that what you're hiding? Of course not. I came here to work on the investigation, but everything took a different direction, and I stopped, suddenly faced with a horrible, glaring truth. This whole thing was a setup to force me to come to Calcutta. The investigation, the need for an Indianologist on the task force. I was tricked into coming here. My brother sat down on the bed, dumbfounded. He looked at me sadly, under his brows. By that Dubé guy, right? How do you know? He took you to the temple. You were gone for such a long time. After that, you became all quiet and depressed. Emrit is unpredictable. We shouldn't trust him completely. But he has a personal interest in keeping us safe, so I think he won't hurt us. Why? You are wary of Amrit. Your goddess path will affect your negotiations. He's willing to cooperate. What kind of cooperation are we talking about? It's complicated. Karen jumped up, glaring at me. Don't you get it? I want to know everything. Do you expect me to sit around without a clue, knowing only that you're out there risking your life? What sort of brother do you think I am? You're so young. You shouldn't worry about any of this. Please, have fun. Focus on school. I was consumed by guilt. What sort of brother? Rather, what sort of sister was I, putting him in danger? Could I explain to him what Amrit Dubé was capable of if we made him angry? How could I explain to him that I'd seen our mother with her throat cut? He seemed to guess what I was thinking. I am no longer a kid, Mala. I'm strong, clever enough to help you out. You've got enough on your plate already. You take care of me, Grandma, the shop, the house. Karen squeezed my hand. For the first time, I realized how much he had grown. Those were not the small hands of a child who used to cling to me on the way to school. A young man's hands were holding me firmly and securely, as if to say, I'm here for you. I have your back. Do you think I didn't see how difficult it was for you? You stopped going out with your friends, rejected boyfriends because you spent all your time with me or at work. I wanted to raise you to be a good person, not leave you to fend for yourself. I wanted to give you everything you could ever need. And you did! So stop it! Just relax for a moment. I'm not a child. I can deal with this. No, you can't. But sure, we'll go ahead and treat you like a young adult. I think I can count on you. I trust your judgment. I'm listening. I told him about our family. The role of the Sioux played in Bengal. I explained our grandma's business, that is the alliance with the Dubés, and the dozen. So we're from here? From this very city? If we came from a wealthy Kshatriya family, why did Mom always say that She ran away from poverty. This is a question I'm trying to answer right now. I want to help you. I knew it would end like this, Kira. No. Mala, yes! Now I finally understand what the hell is happening to me. What are you talking about? Kieran started pacing the room, speaking in an agitated manner. I'm going crazy here, that's what. Oh, no, 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 no. I always feel anxious. It's like I hear voices even though I'm alone in the room. I dream of strange stuff, things from the past that I have never seen or don't remember. It's scary, and the worst part is I don't want to run away from here. Why didn't you tell me anything? I was worried about your reaction. I thought I was going crazy like Grandma. It hurt so bad to hear his words, to realize that he was going through the same thing I was at the very beginning. You're not going crazy. What exactly do you see? Weird stuff. I can't even explain it, to be honest. How odd. My visions are detailed and clear, and he can't even put his into words. Don't worry, we'll sort it. I'll find a doctor and get them to run some tests. Okay. My brother sighed, relieved, but I felt my heart breaking into a million tiny pieces. This is where you should consult Raton. All this time, he had been so worried, but he kept smiling at me, pretending that everything was fine. Let's go have breakfast. Miss Kahana set the table on the veranda, and she said we'll eat there during the puja. I nodded. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I was still angry at myself for not noticing that Karen was not well. Listen, we've been dealing with a ton of shit on our own, dude. Really? Do you know what's good about all this? Is there anything good? I can still trust you. You weren't lying when you said you came here because of the investigation. When I got the notes translated, so many things went through my mind. Speaking of which, who helped you with that translation? Jaya. She wasn't too keen at first, like she was scared or something. Scared? Yeah, and then she said she was doing me a big favor by translating. And I was like, oh, so do I owe you now? Okay, that's not what I actually said. I felt embarrassed and just thanked her. Jaya is a Minergie. She's connected to what's going on. She must know something, otherwise why would she be scared? I need to talk to her when I see her next. Did I say something wrong? You look worried. Be careful around her. We don't know anything about Jaya yet. I'd crack a joke, but you seem pretty wound up. That's right, so don't. I patted Karen on the shoulder. Go have breakfast. I'll join you soon. If Priyanka makes you feel uncomfortable, come back here, lie, say that I asked you to come. Thanks. I'm glad I told you about that. Of course, I'll deal with it. Karen went downstairs. You know that Karen is tired of Priyanka's attention. Yeah, aren't we all? Well, now Karen knows. Of course, the one who got me into this mess also knows. But Amrit wouldn't hurt Karen, would he? If he's telling the truth and he's taking me seriously, he wouldn't dare hurt my brother. Besides, Kieran is also a Basu, part of this important family. His blood is valuable. You try to trust Amrit because there are feelings between you. I was afraid that my brother could be in danger. Things seemed to have taken a turn for the worst, but I managed to calm down a little, ignoring the headache that had been tormenting me since morning I went downstairs. The Kahans, Karen, and Jaya were already waiting for me, sitting on the sofas. Good morning. Come and eat before the rotis get cold. Would you like some vegetables? Miss Kahan started fussing around me. I shifted my gaze to Jaya, who was discussing something with Kieran. My brother looked a little lost. Jaya's here. I need to find a way to talk to her. Miss Kahan, may I ask you a question? Of course. Was your maiden name the same as Jaya's, Banerjee? Yes, of course. My family is part of the dozen, as you know. You just casually mentioned this now. How come you were allowed to marry a person outside the circle? Well, even though Aryan's family isn't part of the dozen, they are still influential. And believe me, I was very beautiful when I was young. He was very persistent in his attempts to marry me. You are still very beautiful, Meridil. If Jaya is involved with Amrit's group, Priyanka must also be aware of everything. Jaya must have told her what's going on. I met Miss Kahan's eyes. Her lips curled into a knowing smile. We made small talk about the recent festival. Everyone shared their impressions, what kind of offerings for the dirge they bought, and so on. And the performance at the end was very impressive. Speaking of which, your dance was impressive, so graceful and expressive at the same time. When the sky turned to thunder, I swear, I believed that Ma Devi herself was going to come down to us. What was everyone talking about when the storm began? I didn't understand anything. They were in awe of Amala and Mr. Dubé. They believed that they had a skillfully appeased dirge and attracted her attention. To be honest, I also believe that they look so good. Everyone was talking about what happened. Looking at Karen and me, Jaya suddenly asked, "By the way, Karen, have you met him yet, Mr. Dubé?" "Not yet. Am I supposed to?" "I think so. It will probably happen at the next meeting. It will be interesting for me to see you together." "Why do you want to see us together? What, you can't choose between us two?" "I'm just wondering if you're as similar as you look." "What? Similar? Wait, according to the book about the dozen, Kier matches the characteristic features of the Dubés more than those of the Basus. If you put them side by side... Oh no. Yeah. Dark skin, green eyes, dark curly hair. Kieran really looks like a Dubé man. Davis, Vimal, Rishi, Amrit could be mistaken for his brothers or uncles. But I don't look like that. And we definitely have the same parents, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, but that's because you're a woman and they're men. You read it carefully, so you can speculate about this. Karen is not coming with me to that meeting. Mala, don't be like that. And by the way, what meeting are you talking about? I want to pay a visit. Amrit arranged a meeting, which I plan to attend. It's important to discuss our common interests, so I don't mind going. Amrit promised that he would personally come to pick me up. I guess I'll have no choice but to introduce you. Kieran was about to reply with something snarky, but Priyanka interrupted him. You were invited to a meeting with the Dubés. Oh, Amala. This day has finally come. I'm so glad. Has the young master taken a liking to you? She seems really excited. If Miss Kahan belongs to a family from the dozen, does she know something about my family as well? Maybe she even knew everything about my background from the very beginning. This would explain her behavior. Miss Kahan, shall we take a walk in the garden? Before I go about my day, I'd like to spend some time with you. We haven't seen much of each other in the last few days, and I need your advice. My advice? Yes, I used to confide in my mom, but now there's no one I can talk to. My brother grimaced, but instead of saying anything, he started munching harder on his breakfast, looking at me suspiciously. I was glad I raised him to be a smart guy. Miss Kahan's face lit up. Of course. I'll ask the cook to clear the table. Come on, take my arm. You are way too happy for this. Jaya, while you're here, do you want to practice your English with me? Oh, I'd love to. A couple of minutes later, we were already walking at leisurely pace, dry leaves crackling under our shoes. We walked in a comfortable silence until Priyanka finally spoke. What did you want to talk about? Is this about matters of the heart? Sorry to disappoint you. As part of the Banerjee family, you must know a lot about other families that make up the dozen, right? Of course, and I know all the main members of those families. Great, so you're a walking, talking encyclopedia. I can imagine. I take it you knew Jyotsna Basu particularly well? Miss Collins slowed down, looking at me in surprise. You figured it out? Mm-hmm. So it was you, the young woman who was with my mother in her final days in Calcutta. She nodded sadly, avoiding my gaze. I was with her, yes. I tried to talk her out of leaving, but she was very stubborn. You definitely take after her. It all matches, the way she talks, her love for children, and now I even see her obvious resemblance to that woman in the past. You found out the identity of the young stranger from the past. This will affect the plot. You knew everything from the beginning, that I'm a Basu. Oh no, my girl, not from the beginning. When they suggested I host you during the investigation, they didn't tell me anything. Mr. Dubé just warned me that he would need you and that I should be very nice to you. Did you figure out the rest by yourself? Yes, after a while. At first I thought I was delusional, imagining things, and then I realized it couldn't be otherwise. You were the one we'd been looking for. Do you mean the dozen? Yes, the dozen. It's weird. Can't you bring order to Bengal without me? Bengal. Amrit told me about the dark times. He manages our affairs, so he's well aware of it. The woman sighed heavily. When I realized who you were, I knew there was a good reason for bringing you here. I had no right to ruin the dozen's plans for you. That's why I tried to dissuade you from going to Clippagrami. What does Clippagrami have to do with all this? It was a strange village, but not that dangerous. There were people there who seemed scared, but they didn't want to hurt me. Well, most of them didn't. And what happened in the past should stay in the past. Right? Miss Kahan raised her eyebrows. People, you mean? Did you talk to the villagers, got close to them? Well, at least I tried. The local Brahmin helped me. My hostess seemed to shudder. She shook her head, clearly at a loss for words. I don't know what to say. There are places you shouldn't go back to. If you were spared, you shouldn't tempt fate. Fate is not always merciful. Priyanka turned to hurry back home. Wait, where are you going? We're not done talking. Please don't get me in trouble. The Dubés will have my head if they find out what kind of conversations I'm having with you. If the young master invited you to a meeting, don't complain and go. You'll definitely learn more from them than from me. I let Priyanka go. She clearly wasn't quite herself. This is ridiculous. I didn't have time to stand around and think about it. You learn important information that will be useful in the future. I wanted to go see Lima and Killian to talk to them about everything that happened. After getting ready, I went down the hallway to leave. Just then, Jaya came out of the living room. Are you leaving? What about Mr. Dubé's invitation? Will you be there too, Jaya? Of course. My father thinks I should be involved in our family affairs. Kieran joined us. That's right, Amala. What about Mr. Dubé's invitation? And what do you have to do with it? We should go together. He didn't even let me snap back. He said it again, more firmly. We should go together. I'll think about it. Stop nagging me. No way in hell you're going to come, of course. I won't say that out loud. My brother smirked confidently at Jaya. By the way, Amala, about the jewelry. My father agreed to let me give it to you. He said he would be happy to give you such a precious gift. Really? But it was expensive. Please, enjoy it. You were given a precious jewelry set. After our conversation was over, I could finally go meet my colleagues. But before that, I had promised Gabriel to go on a walk with him. He's waiting for me, and I still have things to do. Killian said he and Lima are at the hotel bar, so I should have some time. When I arrived, Gabriel was sitting on a bench. He pointedly looked at his watch. You're 4.5 minutes late. This is not a work meeting, so I can't tell you off, but I don't like to be kept waiting. Oh, Grant. You should be grateful I found the time to come at all. Right, you're very busy. Even when you're out with your brother, you might find yourself in need to suddenly disappear. I guess I shouldn't take my eyes off you. Path of Independence. Let's make one thing clear. I'm here because I wanted to be. I'm no longer forced to by the investigation. Do I have to do what you say? Most definitely not. If you keep being snarky, I'll just leave you here. By tonight, I can promise you, you'll find yourself in a slum, completely naked without a rupee on you. Which day would you rather have? Whoa, careful not to cut me with the sharp tongue of yours, but actually, I didn't mean to offend you. I only started this conversation to find out what happened at the puja. Damn, she was very cut edge with him. We were walking slowly along the river. Lightwood and Berg, freaked out, rushed to look for you. No one asked my opinion on the matter. That's not how I like to work. We've been working together for a while now. We saw and learned a lot. They were worried about me, and they trusted you with the most important thing of all, my brother. By the way, I didn't thank you, Amala. You pointed out the location of Mr. Hayes' body, and that was the main purpose of our mission. How close are you with Mr. Dubé? Why are you asking? It's proven quite tricky to get him to come into questioning. Even the ambassador seems to have no way of helping us with it. It feels like the Bengali authorities are ready to fight to their last breath for that man. The tiger guards the forest, and the forest protects the tiger. Try to convince him to cooperate. We have a lot of evidence of his involvement after what you said. You agreed to go on a walk with Gabriel, and now you know he's plotting something against Amrit. Was that why you wanted to meet me? Let's just take a walk around the city, huh? Oh, Mala, you are not so naive. I had other motives, of course, like spending time with a beautiful woman. Are you flirting with me? Well, since you're technically no longer working for the embassy, I'm not your boss, so I'm not breaking any rules. So if I slap him, I'm not breaking any rules either. Good to know. His lips curl into a full smirk. I let him tease me. We'll go with that. If the investigation had dragged on any longer, I could have been killed too. And you could have been haunted not only by one ghost of your evil boss, but by two. Ah, yes. 2 would have been a bit much. But if you keep talking about Mr. Rose like that, he'll come back to haunt you too. Fortunately, we were on good terms. I know how to deal with egomaniacs because I'm one myself. Well, at least he had plenty of practice losing his head every time he threw a temper tantrum. Amala, you should be ashamed of yourself. You and Gabriel are becoming friends. I still have things to do. I can show you the way back to the hotel. Do you mean the way I took, by taxi? The key word being taxi. We'll walk and I'll point out the sights. Fine. That's what I signed up for after all. Lead the way. Really? What? You remember which way to go? Let's not make a big deal out of it. I just have trouble navigating new places. Alright, Zorro. Sure, laugh at me, Amala. Please, lead the way. We spent the rest of the time chatting casually. The hotel bar, illuminated by only artificial lights, was quiet, not very busy. Only a few tables were occupied by people talking in different languages. I found Killian and Lima at the farthest table in the corner. They both looked downcast, 2 glasses of liquor in front of them. When they noticed me, their expressions changed immediately. Hi. How are you feeling? You've been through a lot recently. I'm so sorry about that. Killian answered first, emptying his glass in one gulp. Oh, God. Dude, this outfit does not fit him very well. Literally, the shirt and everything. That at least looks decent. How is that even Killian? I'm gonna be honest with you. As usual, looks great, right? It looks actually the best one. Great in a shirt, great. So these are non-diamond choices. I'm just gonna do interesting. Sit down, Amala. He looked at me like he was in the mood for jokes. We sat there in silence. I don't really know where to start. Lima and I would be happy if you started from the beginning, right? Lima looked up at me. So we've got the usual, or unusual, unique, wonderful. Okay. As usual, minimal, beautiful. I agree. I like her hair. Like a local. I like the hair, though. Yeah, we're doing wonderful. Shut up. I know Amrit did a terrible thing, but right now I can't cut him off completely. I briefly explained to Mom about the Basu's role and their legacy in Calcutta, but they were clearly more interested in what happened in the temple. There are things beyond our understanding. We cannot investigate them because they are simply beyond our control. Some people can interact with supernatural and others can. Amrit is someone whose blood has such power. Killian frowned and shook his head. Wait. The supernatural, the divine. What are you trying to say? Don't you understand? Who do you think was grabbing at you in the temple? Where did all those shadows come from? Those are material. There's a material world. There's a spiritual world. They were both created by those we always have considered just part of the legends. Oh, for crying out loud. He pressed his fingers on the bridge of his nose as if he was talking to a child. Look. You asked and I'm just telling you. If you don't believe me, I can't make you. What do you think I found out that you kept the pact between the UK and India secret from Lima and me? Yes, by the way, how did you know? Mr. Rose handed in it. When? A few days after he died. Those words hung in the air. Killian silently pushed his glass towards me. Here, drink. You're clearly overworked. Is this funny to you? I remember you laughing in the temple. The day we snuck into the archive, I remember finding you on the floor, shaking and terrified. That was the first time Rose came to me. Are you trying to say that you see dead people? I see a lot. That's why it's so important for me to find out the truth about my family. Where did my visions come from? What it did want from me? What happened between my family and the Dubays? Why am I even here? You need to understand my position. It's vital for me to figure everything out. Please calm down. I understand. I'm not an atheist, nor have I ever been. I believe in a higher power. And about Killian, please don't stress him out even more. He already cleaned the room spotless while he was thinking about what happened. It's hard for me to believe that Amala, what she is saying, just as difficult as believing what happened with Dubé. He was actually able to control those, what are the creatures? I guess you really do need help. Killian continued. It's horrifying to even think about what that shit you've seen, Amala. Honestly, I don't want to leave you in this situation. We'll stay here and help you in any way we can. Besides, this also concerns the embassy, so there's still work for me here. Really? Thank you so much. I wouldn't dare ask you to put yourself in danger like that, but I do really need your help. You shouldn't deal with this stuff alone. If what happened in the temple wasn't even the first time for you, you really need help. Those things are terrifying, and I want you to be alright, you know? Thank you. Thank you very much. You have no idea how important this is to me. I haven't felt like I could count on someone else for a long time. Killian agreed to stay with you because they value your friendship. What did Dubays and those people in the temple want from you? Amrit said that they need me to help stop some trouble from happening. He implied that They would like to take control of the government and restore order in society. You know about an impending threat. Based on what you've told us, I have no idea in what direction to dig, other than maybe meeting with those people. I had another thought. Do you remember Grant telling us that he heard the locals discussing the village we went to? This morning, I spoke to Miss Kahan. She warned me again about what a dangerous place that is. She said I should never go back there. I keep thinking, maybe we missed something. You remember Gabriel and Priyanka's words. This will affect the plot. I will also ask one of the embassy translators to help us out. Lima, will you join us? No problem. Judging from how determined Dubé was to get to you, and his fury when he chased us out of the temple, most of what's going on in Calcutta seems to have been started because of you, Amala. They suddenly hired an inexperienced Indianologist from London. Not just anyone, but specifically you. Yes, and they didn't put you in a hotel, but with a local family, gave you a strange person as your guide. If it goes that deep, we might not be able to do anything about it. Gabriel was mad because it seems to be impossible to even call Amrit Dubé in for questioning. What can we do? If what you're saying is true, then we were all just being used to fulfill their plans. We're just pawns in their game. Trying to meddle in their affairs could end up really badly, like it did for Amrit. They will be very sorry if they so much as touch you. If they want to do business with me, they better not harm those I care about. Something doesn't add up. Amrit is definitely not the friendliest guy out there, but he could have easily forced your hand a lot more than he did. Instead, he's trying to convince you to negotiate, to manipulate the circumstances around you. I think he needs something very specific, something that only you can give him of your own free will. What you're saying makes perfect sense, Lima. Then let's go to the embassy and get to work. Lima drained her glass and then stretched. Fine. Finally, there's actual work waiting for us, but we're not bringing Grant into this. Come on, he could help. I agreed to work 3 times harder if you promise me not to let him poke his nose into this. Then you owe me a coffee. Lima's right. Amrit's behavior must have a reason, or is there something else going on? Go ahead without me. I have to go to that meeting tonight. We said goodbye. When I arrived, I got a phone call from Shekhar, letting me know that Amrit Dubé was going to pick me up personally. I still had some time, so I went to my room. My headache never went away, so I needed to rest. I want to get a good look at Amrit's ring. I don't know if he noticed it was missing. I don't know the situation with the book to repeat itself. Tonight I have a chance to sneak it back in if necessary. Then I took out the gold ring that I had been carrying with me all this time. Leaving things in the room didn't seem safe anymore. Looks like there's a tiger on it. Wouldn't mind seeing the other side, but put it on. A heavy blue stone, several carats. It's been awfully expensive. It's too big. I'll try it on my thumb. What's that? There's a tiger engraved on it. Remember that Amrit Durja Puja Sherwani also had a similar decoration. A noise behind me prompted me to glance over my shoulder. The atmosphere in the room hadn't changed, but I was used to it by now, so I froze, staring intently into the space. I know what this noise means. Someone decided to visit me. Instead, I felt a rough shove from behind, causing me to fall on all fours. I looked around, furious, but I was still alone. The sharp pain in my temples grew stronger. And then... It's up to you, it's up to you, it's up to you. What? I tried to get up, but the catacomb of voices coming out from nowhere made me feel like my head was about to split in half. The scent of incense became stronger, and the room seemed to get covered with a cloudy veil. A buzzing in my ears was going rapidly as the whispered voices of the exhausted, tortured people started screaming and howling. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. The main thing is to stay conscious and try to understand. This is just anxiety. I shouldn't be scared. I felt that those voices were not threats, but warnings. They were all whispering at the same time, but some words stood out. Take it all. Take it? Take what? I looked around to see what the voices were talking about, caught a glimpse of myself on a reflective surface where I suddenly saw... It's like the opposite of you. Cool artwork, I like it. Not one, but two of me. The first one was a real me. There, in the room. The second one was completely different. She was dressed in expensive clothes, jewelry, grinned, spreading her arms. Behind my back, I could see a corner of the temple hall with a symbol painted on its wall. The sun and the moon. It's the same symbol. What does it mean? Why am I standing there? Take what was rightfully yours. Take what belongs to you. And then it dawned on me. There, I was Rich Harris from an important family, wearing fancy clothes and in charge of a temple. What is this, the future? No, it's too good to be true. Is this just an illusion to lure me? I shut my eyes to stop the vision. I'm tapping, but nothing's happening. My vision disappeared, and my hand wearing the ring throbbed painfully. My blood was racing through my veins, and my heart began to hammer. Bloody hell, it's hot, it burns. I collapsed on the floor again, trying to take off the ring, but it seemed to be glued to my skin. And when I looked up... Okay. It's you. Goddess Kali. Mediva Kali. I didn't dare to say more, so intimidated by that ancient, otherworldly being. I froze still, not daring to move. I was awe of someone so sublime, so powerful, so magnificent. The goddess herself was sitting in front of me, her long, beautiful legs crossed. She was the most powerful, endowed with the powers of all the gods, the fiercest one who defeated the invincible demon, the loving one who was a mother to all the people in the world. Serve me to appease my anger. Obey me to save lives. Follow my path to earn my mercy. Act, my child. You saw the goddess Kali in person. This will affect the plot. Unknown creatures howled around me, and the distorted shadows that I had already seen in the temple crawl out of the walls. Mahadevi disappeared, drowned in a swarm of dark creatures. I felt like I was burning, shivering all over. And the strangest thing was the unusual feeling that was growing inside me, so strong, overpowering everything else. Frenzied exhilaration. It's the damn ring, to hell with it. I pulled off the ring, squeezed it tightly in my hand, as if hoping to break it. I'll go crazy if it doesn't stop. Take control, give in to the panic. I pressed my hand against the floor to feel grounded. I closed my eyes, breathing evenly and deeply. I tried to concentrate on my breathing, on the feeling of the hard surface, stopping my thoughts not to get lost in my own madness. Ignoring the endless whispers, I tried to push them to the back of my mind. It's not real. None of this is real. I'm here to fight it. I can't lose control. I'm not a victim. This thought seemed to knock all the noise out of my head. You managed to calm down. This type of control will be very useful to you in the future. Suddenly my eyes flew open and I saw that the haze had disappeared. I was still shaking. There was an unusual, strange silence in my ears. Are they gone? Voices sounded in the corridor, one of them a man. I was afraid that the door would burst open. Everyone would come in asking a million questions after hearing my screams, but only one person appeared on the threshold. Amala. Amrit. It was the first time he'd seen me like this, sweaty, shaking, helpless, not proudly lifting my chin, talking back to him, but weak, scared. There was a genuine surprise in his eyes, which he didn't even try to hide. What happened? Amrit took a step towards me, as if coming to help. And all I did was throw myself into his arms or freeze. He bent down to help me up, but I got up by myself and pressed against his chest. I wanted to feel his warmth, strength, his back behind, which I could hide. Amrit froze in surprise for a moment, then his arms quickly wrapped around my waist. You're shaking. What happened, Amala? Who did this to you? No one. I don't know how to explain it. I understand. You don't have to tell me you're not alone. Amrit is very happy to help you. He started caressing my shoulders, trying to calm me down somehow. He probably knew exactly how I felt. Someone as strongly tied to the supernatural as he was. He faced the same things as me. Every time I think I'm ready for a new vision, that I can handle it, they unsettle me completely instead. Even those that came to warn me seem to be trying to drive me insane and scare me. What did they say? What did they show you? The future that awaits, what awaits me. Amrit lifted my chin and looked into my eyes intently. He had a strange way of helping. He didn't reassure me by telling me that everything was going to be fine. He didn't hug me, shushing me like I was a mad woman. Dubé just remained calm. Did it scare you that much? I just shook my head. He gently kissed me on the cheek, then brought my hand to his lips and gave me another kiss. I know how hard it is. If you learn to control the fits, it will be easier. How do I learn that? Don't worry about anything right now. Now you just need to calm down. He held me, allowing me to relax in his arms and recover. Slow, measured caresses made me feel safe. Suddenly, he said softly, all those creatures attack you because you let them. Next time, grab them by the throat and squeeze tight. They have no idea how strong you can be. I'll show them. And now, he looked at his watch. It's time to go to the meeting at my house. Rate it. And today we got 1 independence, 2 loyalty, 7 respect, 4 rage, 2 kindness, and 10 diamonds, plus the 3 we'll get from the ad. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description, plenty of things to check out there, ways to support, and ways to become more a part of this community. Also the join and thanks features. With that being said, wow. So, some of the story, and I don't know if you guys can share the same sentiment, some of the story makes sense, and I really do dig it, and I also do agree with Amrit that the things that haunt you, right, from supernatural, I know, some people don't believe in the supernatural. I do. I have a very lengthy history with the supernatural, and there are times that, yes, you do have to be, how can I put this? You kind of have to be, like you own them, right? Like in a way, you can't let them push you around or, you know, whatnot to you, right? Yeah. I'll just give you a TLDR of why I say that. Is there was a time when I was a lot younger, as a small boy, I would see, hear, just experience a lot of things. And, you know, you as a child are so scared of things, right? And as you get older, especially teenage and young adult, you start, you either continue to be afraid of certain things, or you learn that, what goes bump in the night is actually the least of your worries. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather deal with what goes bump in the night and the dark shadows or supernatural things than actual people. I'm not even kidding. Because people are actually capable of real harm against you. um Especially, going, let's just say hypothetically, you go and you explore somewhere, right? And you may run into, like, shadow people or ghosts or whatever, right? Yeah, no, they just want to spook you or scare you, right? However, you may run into someone who literally wants to end you, and I'm just saying, there are people like that, especially when you go exploring in old, decrepit places. So yeah, no. um Like, let's just put it that way. I'm more afraid of actual real people and have had to put up my guard physically in a lot of other ways when it comes to that versus, what goes bump in the night. So, yeah, no. With that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, what you think about this book and anything and everything around it. And hey, have you had a supernatural experience? Let me know. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.